We have a need for speed, fast speed, quickness, so to speak. 0 to 90 in no seconds flat. We have objectively ordered a list of very, very speedy games. If you don't agree with our ranking of the games, well, you're just going to have to eat our dust. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 20 games that are incredibly fast-paced. And number 20 is Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal took everything from Doom 2016 and put it in overdrive, man. Shifted into gear. Doom 2016, kid stuff. Everything is bigger, badder, and most importantly, faster. This game on Nightmare gives us carpal tunnel syndrome. The action is so fast, it crashes consoles. It melts graphics cards on PC. Comparing the original Doom to this is like watching a game in slow motion. Everything is fast in Doom Eternal. The glory kills blaze through a split second, giving you more control to double jump and dash through swarms of demons from hell. This game is disgustingly fast-paced. You'll be pressing buttons faster than Guitar Hero on Through the Fire and Flames. You're going to be quick-swapping, firing grenades, burning enemies, using blood punches, and I mean, it's a rampage. The whole thing's a frickin' rampage, and it all is moving a little too fast. Marathon runner speed is your bare minimum. You're running at that at all times or faster, and it only gets faster as you progress. This game is so fast, the developers aren't even trying to one-up themselves with the sequel. They're actually trying to slow things down a bit in the new one. When you've built the perfect engine, there's kind of nowhere to go but down, so we don't blame them. At number 19 is Sonic Unleashed. You can't have a video game list talking about speed without including the Blue Blur himself. Sonic Unleashed has some of the biggest speed moments of the whole series, too. Dropping in levels, Mach 5. The scenery just becomes an indistinct smudge as you move at light speed through some of the most honestly impressive set pieces in the entire series. Go! But that speed does come at a cost. You see, Sonic Unleashed is one of the fastest games around, but it's also one of the slowest. You see, Sonic got cursed with lycanthropy, or I guess it would be echinostropy. I don't know what these words mean in real life. He transforms into a werehog at night. During the day, you're speeding around having fun, blazing through incredible levels. At night, you're forced to endure some of the most boring, awful stages ever built by human hands. It's basically like bad, slow God of War. Not like good, slow God of War, like new God of War. It's like bad, slow God of War, like the old God of War games if they were slow and bad. This is the true curse of Sonic Unleashed, and there's a reason why the game was built like this. Developers at Sonic Team stated the day stages were so labor-intensive, it would take an impossible amount of work to deliver a game long enough for gamers. So the werehog stages at night were developed as a simpler way to make levels that made the game longer. I think that maybe the better idea would have been a shorter game. We all love long games, don't get me wrong, but torpedoing the good parts by burying them under the bad parts, that's pretty classic Sega mismanagement. At number 18 is Cuphead. Cuphead is both incredibly fast and deliberately slow. The little Cupheaded guys aren't that fast at all, really. And they'll usually be standing in a stationary arena while crazy things happen all around them. That's where the speed comes in. The insane animation by Studio MDHR, it's overwhelming. It's a nice little game, right? Friendly little, fun little cartoony game, right? Nope, it's a bullet hell boss rush. You need to learn perfect precision and go into bliss mode to beat some of these bosses. The expansion only makes it more intense, too. Some of the final bosses in the original game are standouts of unrelenting carnage. The battle against King Dice is easily an example of speed mixed with careful gameplay. That's how the secret sauce makes Cuphead one of the fastest games. There's a few short levels to break up the big boss fights, but otherwise you're really only fighting tough enemies. There's not really downtime, there's no wasted space, no gameplay to give you a short breather, just a big challenge, and then another big challenge, and then another, and it keeps going like that. The only way to slow it down is if you want to slow it down yourself, but these bosses, they really make us want to try over and over. The knockout is always just so close. Gotta try one more time, right? One more. You can't give up when you're so close to victory, man. There's another devious detail, too. There's no health bars, so you only see how much you progress by dying. It's a great way of adding tension while also showing you exactly how much better you'll need to get if you want to win. And number 7 is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. It's about time we talked about some more Revengeance. From moment 1, this is the real deal. Levels here are completely perfunctory when it comes to details, because the only thing that matters here, it's the action. Raiden is our resident cyborg ninja, and he's slicing, dicing, and the augmented henchmen, oh, they can't handle it. Your impossibly sharp blade slices anything it touches into a million pieces. And it touches a whole lot of bad guys through this game's quick and breezy 5 hours of game time. Everything's on overdrive in the game's hardest difficulty. Parries require lightning strike precision, and bosses brutalize you with an onslaught of fast attacks. Enemies hit you before you can blink, and even normal difficulties. I don't know, this game moves like it's on the run. The gameplay moves faster than the plot, and the evil scheme becomes increasingly incoherent as you dead sprint towards the finish line. It's one of the most absurd final bosses of all time, but that's kind of the style of Platinum games. You move at breakneck speed so you don't think about what's come before, only what's coming next. Revengeance is pure video game magic. Once you've learned how to handle the difficulty curve, you'll be slicing through enemies instantly, going slow-mo to perform stylish perfect cuts, and then moving on to the next cut with extreme precision. And this is not the last time Platinum will be on this list. And number 16 is Minit, a pretty leisurely game about desperately trying to beat your impossible time limit. Every gameplay section gives you 60 seconds. You got a full minute to scamp around these static environments, explore, figure out what to do next. Progress is not saved, but items you find in certain checkpoints are. So to progress the game, you got to reach new locations, solve new puzzles, memorize your world before time is up, and you're forced to reset. It's both the most chill game in the world and the most stressful. The end of your run is always counting down. Your brain's asking questions faster than you'll be able to answer. Can I go down here? Can I use this item on that little NPC? Is there a new portal unlock, a new area to access, or is there a clue pointing to the next objective? You're forced to think fast and on your feet. And while the time limit only resets your progress, it also limits what you can do. There are some places you can go, but you'll have to figure out how to skip through before you progress. It's the perfect game for an amateur speedrunner. Forces you to think about time in a way very few games can. And if you're rolling your eyes, you think, man, it's not. It's plenty of time. No, there are games with tighter time limits coming up. And number 15 is Vanquish, and Vanquish isn't one of those games. You don't have a tight time limit, but you will be moving faster than any other third-person shooter on the planet. Your character's Marcus Phoenix if he had rockets strapped to his shoes. Instead of plodding around the battlefield like the Gears of War big boys, you're moving around with grace as you slide around like a madman, shooting guns endlessly and hopping over cover to pull off supremely sick moves. Everything about Vanquish is the coolest thing in the world. Your dude can light up a cigarette mid-battle and toss it away to distract heat-seeking rockets. It's insanely cool. You'll need every bit of your slow-mo meter to just follow the action, too. Charging around the battlefield and feeling completely invulnerable. It's a game that encourages you to keep moving, keep shooting. Escape the doldrums of stop-and-pop third-person shooter gameplay, right? Why sit behind cover like a coward when you can crank up atomic batteries and launch yourself from one piece of cover to the next, dismantling robots with awesome moves along the way? It's another Platinum game that is just too cool for words. Even the first boss is a chaotic, super-fast machine that fills the screen that with way too many rockets. Too many. It's too many. And that's why it's good. If you can uncross your eyes and get in touch with your inner tweaker, Vanquish hits like a hurricane. And number 14 is Warioware. Every Warioware game belongs on this list. But Get It Together challenges your friends to chaos. If you've never played, Warioware is essentially a series of micro games. You have to pick a nose, pull a nose hair, stick a nose on a face. A lot of nose stuff. Surprising amount of nose stuff. But it's all about completing these mini games as quickly as possible because the timer's always ticking. The trick is remembering what to do for each nano game. The instructions are so fast and the tasks are so patently ridiculous. Sometimes it takes a fraction of a second for your overwhelmed brain to even register what's happening.
Plug.
Well, you're going to need to move faster than that because each of the series of mini games you compete with speeds things up. The speed keeps on cranking until you're forced to basically complete each game instantly, memorizing actions and reacting to changing instructions on the fly. It's a lot. It's the world's most complicated game of Simon Says. Created by developers that definitely ate way too much sugar before bed or, all day every day. It's a hyperactive experience. That might be the underdog pick for most fast-paced game ever. The only thing it's missing is a butt rock soundtrack. Luckily, the next game on the list has that in spades.
Drive. With style. Topple.
Take that!
And number 13 is Hardcore Uprising, the fastest of the Contra games. Hardcore Uprising just keeps getting faster and more ridiculous with every level. From the first second, you're careening through enemies on your motorcycles and sprinting through the desert at max speed, while infinite enemies spawn from both sides of the screen. Hold down the fire button and just keep moving because there's multiple bosses blocking your progress in the first level alone. Hardcore Uprising is a Contra sequel made by the maniac developers of the Guilty Gear fighting games, and you can see their sensibilities all over this thing. Everything is exploding. You will die instantly if you're not careful, and there is no moment of calm. Ever. Technically, you can take it slow and carefully move forward, but why? Why would you do that? The soundtrack's full of rock riffs to get your blood pumping, get your legs moving. You can literally hold down sprint, blaze through levels on record times. That's the goal, really. Learning to perfect your moves is a simple joy we can't resist, and Hardcore Uprising does not stop with the chaos. And number 12 is Returnal. Roguelikes don't usually feel fast. When death means resetting a run, players like us are more likely to play it safe and careful, but Returnal does not let you rest. In later biomes, projectiles fill the screen like bullet hell pellets, and you're forced to use every movement technique to stay alive. Returnal is a third-person shooter, but let me put it this way. It doesn't really come close to the speed of a game like Vanquish, but it has something over that game, and that's consequences. The speed of Returnal might technically be slower, but you won't have regenerating health to keep you safe. Every hit is permanent, makes later fights super fast, super stressful. You need to keep yourself safe while cutting a path through each giant level, and the levels become truly insane in the latter half. Giant arenas full of mind-bending enemies and bizarre alien landscapes every next corner. This is a game that feels way faster than it looks. When you're dodging, tracking projectiles, laser beams, and platforming to avoid an instant death, all while trying to aim at tiny flying enemies, you will agree with us. At number 11, it's Katana Zero. Hotline Miami in side-scrolling, right? It's a good way to describe the gameplay of Katana Zero. Clearing rooms of armored guards with your katana and a lot of sick moves is harder than it looks. Luckily, your samurai has the ability to see the future, giving you an infinite number of tries for each combat scenario. You never die, just your latest plan doesn't work out. Katana Zero might not be the fastest of the Hotline Miami alikes, but it's probably our favorite. The escalation is just insane as you go from fighting low-level goons to bad guys with powers just like yours. You'll need to duck and dive through complex arenas, making split-second decisions as your best-laid plans go bad. It's a game about repeating the same section over and over and still feels super fast-paced. The quick reload helps a lot there, to be frank. This is a game with thumping speed. Watching your samurai finally successfully cut through a room of thugs feels like pulling off your very own machine-assisted speedrun. Yeah, there's an instant replay. Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? This game is awesome. At number 10 is Armored Core 6. You thought we wouldn't talk about From Software on this list. Dark Souls games require a lot from the player, but we wouldn't necessarily say they're fast. That changes with Armored Core 6, the mech game that pits you against some of the biggest, wildest bosses to date. Just look at the fight against the Ibis series Cell 240. You're constantly moving while the boss zips around faster than you can follow it. The action in Armored Core 6 is way faster in every way than the usual Souls-likes, dumping you directly into missions with very little context pointing you to the next objective. There's something spooky about the detached pace of war in Armored Core. It feels completely inhuman. You never see a face, only more machines covered in bigger and bigger guns. If you're like us, you'll have to play this game fast. We use the quad shotguns to deal max damage up close and personal. Blasting enemies with shotguns and swapping to another set for another round of damage is one of the best feelings in video games. Highly recommended. At number 9 is Time Crisis 2. It's a game most of you probably won't know, but there was a time not so long ago where Time Crisis 2 was absolutely everywhere. Every local amusement park, arcade, or entertainment center had a Time Crisis 2 machine. Every movie theater had a little room with Time Crisis 2. Airports, hotels, it was absolutely everywhere, and it belonged everywhere because Time Crisis 2 is both amazing and one of our favorite fast-paced games. From moment one, you're on a tight time limit. Sure, you could hide behind cover forever or carefully take your time shooting each guy, but there is a crisis only seconds away. You're on limited time. You don't want the crisis to happen, right? This is a light gun game. In the original release, you had this foot pedal you would push to pop out of cover. What makes this game unique is that you could dodge bullets by taking cover to reload and then pop out and start shooting again. Every second of the game is backed with action. You're fighting through bad guys, rushing through a fountain square, shooting up cars, dodging rolling barrels, getting into a boat chase, all within the first few minutes of game time. It's completely nuts. Time Crisis 2, easily one of the best light gun shooters of all time. And if the ticking clock doesn't count as fast-paced, I don't know what else does. At number 8, it is Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower is a panic attack in video game form. Every level is a mad dash to the exit, and they only get weirder and weirder. At first, it seems like your eternally stressed out psycho chef is going to platform through surreal levels of no particular theme, but that doesn't last very long. You'll be sprinting through war zones full of enemy soldiers and constant dropping bombs. And of course, the war leads to an underground bunker full of mutant pizza monsters. The entire time a giant pointer tells you to keep moving. There's no time to rest, just jumping and dodging bombs. The final boss is another good example of the speed of this game. It's a marathon final boss encounter. You have to fight a pizza man that keeps changing forms, then a boss rush of all previous bosses combined, while moving at uncomfortable speeds, of course. This is a quick shot of adrenaline of a video game. It's so patently unhinged, everyone owes it to themselves to experience the madness. And there's a lot more weirdness we don't have time to talk about here, but man, great game. At number 7 is F-Zero GX. Some games are so fast you're never really fully in control. You're blazing through races at such high speeds that we're managing the chaos instead of, controlling the race. We really struggled whether to include F-Zero or Wipeout because both games are nauseatingly fast, but after comparing the footage, the decision was ultimately unanimous. F-Zero doesn't have the modern fancy graphics like the latest Wipeout release, but what it does have is the sense that it's just faster. Like, look at F-Zero GX on GameCube and tell us it doesn't look like we're looking at somebody moving at light speed. The stages don't matter in a game like F-Zero. They're just vague layouts of the tracks because you're working with pure muscle memory here. It's like firing a bullet and try to steer it through a big racetrack-shaped pipe. Until you've reached zen-like states of gaming nirvana previously thought impossible, your little flying car is going to scrape up against the walls. Scraping against walls is a punishment because it slows you down. We only want to go fast. And F-Zero GX gives us so much that we had to put it on this list. At number 6 is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. This game asks so much of the player. A mod that slows the game down was briefly pretty controversial in some circles, but if people desperately needed to slow the pace down, that's proof that Sekiro is pretty dang fast. The bosses and general gameplay of this game are next level fast compared to the deliberate pace of games like Elden Ring. Even the fastest big bosses of Elden Ring just do not compare to Sekiro, which gives you one weapon, one set of armor, and one imperative: parry everything you can. It's the parry game. The world is so much faster here thanks to the grappling hook, and you'll use that to swing around the map, zipping past areas, take lots of time to explore in Dark Souls. Instead of navigating every angstrom of a giant castle, Sekiro gives you the tools to fly right over the walls, skip right over to the giant tower structure, and reach the keep in a few seconds. That philosophy follows you everywhere in this game, culminating in one of the most burning fast boss fights we've ever encountered. Inshin the Sword Giant might not be the hardest Souls-like boss now that we've got Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, but he is the fastest. Every frame counts in this game, and watching back footage, we have no idea how we beat this guy. And number 5 is Ghostrunner. Take Hotline Miami and mix it with Mirror's Edge. That gives you Ghostrunner. A game that has all the queasy parkour and instant death action of both those games, but it's so much more as well. Learning to master the movement abilities and the extra skills you'll unlock after defeating big bosses, that's going to make you into a true killing machine. Very few games make you feel as powerful and powerless as Ghostrunner simultaneously, building perfect little arenas for you to swing, dash, and dodge through swarms of enemies that try to shoot or stab you. Like Katana Zero, you'll die in a single hit, so each run is more about chaos management than pure skill. You'll have to look at the arena and decide the best way to strike to minimize your chances of failure because there aren't any quick saves here. It can take tens, maybe even tens of minutes to complete a single sequence. It takes 10 seconds once you finally crack the code. And after a full session of Ghostrunner, you will fully inhabit the Cyborg Ninja style, effortlessly slicing through levels with programmed precision.
Get out!
And number 4 is Burnout 3. If we're talking about games that exude pure speed, we can't ignore Burnout. Burnout 3 is probably our favorite of the bunch. Why wouldn't it be? I mean, you've played, maybe you haven't played it, but if you've played the games, Burnout 3 is, I think, probably the most fun. It is practically ancient to anyone who was born after the year 2000, but Burnout 3 runs laps around modern games when it comes to speed. There's an unreality to the velocity of Burnout 3. Drifting around corners and weaving through traffic just feels perfect in the strangest possible way. It's a game that rewards you for taking the dangerous route, nudging opponent cars into walls and narrowly avoiding explosions. Just driving on the wrong side of the road rewards you with more boost meter. Yes, you're rewarded for going fast with juice that makes you go more fast. Burnout 3 is an injection of pure adrenaline, and watching your enemies crumble in slow motion crashes is a great reward for playing as recklessly as possible. Even while getting footage for this video, we had a hard time putting it down, let's just say. And number 3 is Trepang 2, one of the fastest games, probably one of the worst titles ever. Trepang 2 is this indie shooter with DNA lifted directly from fast-paced 2000s-era shooters like Fear, except it multiplies the speed. This game is intensity personified, fighting faceless squads of Black Ops soldiers and mulching them up like mincemeat with guns akimbo, sliding between cover and launching into spinning super kicks, knocking out enemies instantly. By the first level, you will feel like a god among men, period. As enemy force keeps sending squads of soldiers to take you out, they get more and more desperate to stop you, and you keep clearing them out. It keeps getting crazier. You mix in heavy troopers and snipers and more. You basically have to stay on the move the whole time or you die in an instant. It's not a regular shooter. You'll be fighting aliens, undead horrors, biological experiments, cybernetic super ninjas. But all this stuff comes up by the end of the game, and the battles just keep ramping up. It's a game that absolutely requires a mouse and keyboard, because if you're not scoring headshots every second, you're pretty much dead, man. The pace of this game is extreme even for indie shooters, but the next 2 games take speed to new levels. Trepang 2 is just the beginning. And number 2 is Turbo Overkill. It's somehow only the second most fast-paced game on our list. Somehow, it's not even the most deranged. We should be giving a photosensitivity warning because Turbo Overkill will blind anybody that looks too close. Set in the lost city of Paradise, a strange virus has taken over the neon pink cityscape and generated an infinite army of TV-headed psychos that want to kill you. Most of the games in this genre has like a slide kick. Like the other games in this too fast genre, there is a slide move in Turbo Overkill. The only difference is that in this game you have chainsaw legs. The action is so fast, lesser beings will just get a migraine. You got the endless flashing lights, your guns, and the smooth movement abilities, gunning down the weirdest monsters you've ever seen. It doesn't take long to get magnet boots for wall running, explosive stomps, micro rockets you can unleash whenever you want, and that's just the first few levels. The minigun with the flamethrower attachment is one of our favorites, but the sticky grenade, double barrel shotgun is also supremely good at wiping out enemies. Everything in this game is hyperactive, immature, and violent, and we're not going to stop playing it no matter how much our fingers hurt. Playing Turbo Overkill is like staring into the heart of the flame, though. Our next game is like looking directly at the sun, taping your eyelids open. And finally, at number 1, it's Post Void. Here it is, the game that puts the freak in Speed Freak. This game is straight up deranged. Starting with a pistol and a head full of weird fluid, You have seconds to sprint through randomly generated levels, blasting mouth-headed monsters and collecting their essence to keep you going for fractions of a second. Each level lasts less than a minute. You're rewarded with different upgrades each time. Swap out your pistol for a shotgun, Uzi for a knife for quick kills. One upgrade lets you run faster backwards or makes enemies explode after dying. That's clearly the best one. After a few minutes of playing, you're already in the groove. Enemies are merely distractions for your mad sprint towards the exit. Hold down the fire button and aim for the head, because you need to waste every single enemy in your path. You'll go down in split seconds if you're not prepared, and the slide is best used to avoid enemy projectiles down narrow corridors. The levels become more fractal and nonsensical as you progress. The level compass pointing you towards the exit seems useless at first, but once you're jumping and dropping down holes, there's really just no time to catch your breath and look around. That's the fastest game on our list. What are your favorite fast-paced games? There's so many more we haven't played that look insanely fast, so let us know in the comments. Keep the pedal to the metal. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter and book me on Cameo at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.